mind, because it's there to assist you, your wetware slapped a truck image on it, and then it decided in the milliseconds before you could control it that the obvious outcome was that this other car is going to get hit. So really what you had was that instant flash of energy that was going to be crossing in front of you. And that's all you got, and your mind built the rest of the construction. And I think you get a bunch of psychics together, they're going to start doing this sort of, I'm channeling so-and-so and all this kind of stuff and be self-reinforcing. Mm-hmm. So I like getting all that mental noise out of the way. And again, most of the psychics I've ever run across, in fact, we have to acknowledge that the reason that the whole paranormal thing is in the woo-woo world is because of the gross levels of inaccuracy, because although everybody is psychic, not very many people have mental control. Mm-hmm. And without that mental control, your psychic perceptions and precision go way down, as we're seeing with the spaceship thing, right?
Yes. Very well. I take a look at the people that have like psychic dreams, or even better that, or better still. I've had stories relayed to me, and I've even experienced this myself, where you're extremely close with somebody, let's say a wife or a girlfriend. You both go to sleep, and you both have almost the exact same kind of dream. For whatever reason. You don't know why you have the exact same kind of dream. You just do, and they wake up and they say, I had this weird dream. And the other person says, wow, wait a minute. I had that exact same kind of dream. It was a little different here and there. We know that these things are happening. With all the expansion into quantum physics and string theory and quantum string theory, we're hopefully getting more answers to paranormal activity, to get the answers behind why this thing kind of happens. What are your thoughts on that? When people experience this, they never had it before, but they have this connection with someone who's close with them, where they bond.
There's a couple of different ways. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that I would look at that instantly, and I like being skeptical and then working up from there to an acceptance. Right? I don't say belief because I don't want to impose my any kind of a projection on it. But look at it from this viewpoint. They may have, from a psychological standard Freudian kind of a thing, you could say, oh, well, they had a rich dinner and they both watched the same movies for a certain time and had the same emotional viewpoint about the substance of that movie, and they went and they dreamt about it. And this is an obvious kind of an occurrence, and it'll happen whenever you have, too much protein, too much sugar, too much alcohol, etc., right?
Yes.
And to a certain extent, that may indeed be the case. Now, on the other hand, another way to look at that is this. DNA actually communicates in your system via photons. We needn't get into how it creates photons or any of that. This is now becoming a scientifically recognized fact that DNA actually communicates with itself, talks to itself, if we will, with photons. And at some level, we are indeed hard light, if you will, because we're an energetic vibration that is mimicking, at 22 trillion times a second, a hard reality that does not really exist. And so if we take that as a premise, then the two people lying next to each other in a similar state of entrainment, in the sense that they're both asleep, the mental noise has both gone down, and the universe is communicating with them at either one of them at an energetic level, you can have one person, for instance, where the situation might be that they're both receiving the dream from an external source, or one's receiving it, amplifying it, and projecting it onto the other simply because of their relationship. And I would accept that either of those is true. Either the psychiatric view of it is that, they both saw the same movie, but on another level, I don't think universe produces junk either in DNA or experience. Universe provides us exactly what we need. And so maybe they needed to have that connection.
Right. Well, with that being said, a lot of people say the only reason why we can wake up every morning and walk outside and look up into the sky, and the sky is blue, is because collectively, we all know, every human on Earth knows that the sky is blue, except for someone who's blind, for instance. But that's kind of what keeps it in balance. Trees green, trees grow, grass grows, it kind of keeps it in balance. But if we, many times, we talk about, is there life out there in the universe with all the different stars, all the different galaxies out there? And there has to be some kind of balance with other collective consciousness in some way, right?
Oh, there's got to be trillions upon trillions upon trillions.
Yes. So even if we were to remove everyone on Earth except for one person, does not necessarily mean that one person can change the color of the sky just because he says, well, I'm going to start thinking of it as red or orange, because collective consciousnesses in other galaxies kind of keep that in balance as well?
Correct. In the sense of, if you want, you could just say it is like mathematical dictatorship. the more people that are believing a particular point of view, the more likelihood that view will be imposed upon all the others. And this is the fundamental idea of all religions and all government and all control systems, is that they want you to share in the collective consensus. And if you don't, you're dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Let's take the Patriot Act, for example. I mean, I've even had times where I've been concerned of the things that I say on the radio might lead me to wind up in Guantanamo Bay.
It's a dangerous world out there, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a dangerous world. And with that being said, I mean, we're looking at a lot of very interesting things. You know, we look at, we've got the European Union, we have the African Union, we have the soon-to-be Asian Union, and then there's this thing with the North American Union happening. The Sussex, what was it?
Security and Prosperity Partnership.
That's it. Talking about this, and their candidates are saying, no, there's nothing to this. There's no evidence, but there's overwhelming evidence. Which is
it doesn't even matter about that. You can just operate on a fundamental assumption, and you're going to be more right than wrong, and it will ease your whole burden if you assume every time a politician speaks, they lie to you. Yes. So thereafter, you needn't put much in the way of rational research behind it. You just assume it's a lie and make them prove otherwise.
Good point. It
saves all kinds of time, and you can get on to other work. Yeah,
true. Well, if we take, let's take, for example, the Book of Revelations. Very interesting things in there. And with the European unions, with these unions of the nations, I mean, it's going to break it down to basically 4 unions, which eventually could be squished into a one-world government, for example. You have to look at the predictions in the Bible, for example, and say in the Book of Revelations, this is kind of coming to pass. We're kind of at those end of days times, feeling anyway.
There's a lot of different prophecy centers that are focusing on the time we're in. There's absolutely no question about that. If we examine the cultural matrix that surrounds us as a whole on the planet within our species, we find that more often than not, those religious frameworks that operate within the cultures have some kind of an end-time scenario, and a lot of those end-time scenarios, an overwhelming majority of the ones I've examined, and others as well, seem to be focusing on these particular times now. Again, each and every one of those is a cultural precept and a filter trying to be imposed over reality and force it into a particular framework. But we can take all of those frameworks and discard them and say something is occurring. There is certainly the case. And we can also apply general terms and say a rushing in of time, much more knowledge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I would agree that that is the case, but I would dispute the outcome.
Yes. I'm, being in the position that I am, talking with a wide variety of different people about everything from government conspiracies to the UFO aspect to ghosts to you name it, spiritualism, you name it. It's very interesting sitting in this chair because I get to see a particular landscape that is put before me. Maybe my feelings on things kind of get in the way, so I don't see things clearly enough. But I can honestly say that as I look around the world right now, despite what is being shown to me on TV, despite what I'm reading in the magazines and newspapers, I can just see that we are headed into a very, very troubling time that doesn't seem all that good, boiling it down to normal Joe Schmo on the street. Increased activity would make it look more and more like we're a police state throughout the country, and it just doesn't look good, and it concerns me. And I start thinking about my future. What do I need to do? Now, if I was in your particular situation where you're getting all this data and you're doing these forecasts in a sense, you're seeing things kind of in a before they happen scale, you must be seeing kind of the same thing, aren't you?
I would agree that we're basically on the same emotional wavelength, that in that sense we're in sync, yes. And it can be very disturbing, extremely depressing, and I've gone through that. And hopefully I'm burning it through my system and taking proactive steps to counter that. But it also, to a certain extent, such a wide view does allow you the perspective of being less shocked by what comes up and being more prepared. And that's why George, you and I go out and we talk to entertaining fellows like yourself, and we say, oh, by the way, lash everything down. December 12th, you may get a big earthquake. If it doesn't happen, well, that's great. And if it does, you got stuff lashed down and you're not injured. So, there are benefits to it. There's no question about that. And I'm sure that on level of ethical risk in the sense of karmic participation and harmonizing, the more of these ethical risks we take, the further out we get telling people, don't be disturbed, but for instance, they're trying to ram a one world government down through you, and by the way, they're going to crash your economic system, and your 401k won't be worth much, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. It gets a lot of people riled up now, and then they kind of calm down a bit. Then when the actual thing happens, they've had a chance to digest it ahead of time, and they're not trapped in the shock and awe of it, standing like deer in headlights.
Yes. Well, we even have a situation with our energy. And I've often thought about, what do I need to do here, where I am in my studio now here in Texas? What can I do to kind of free myself from the power companies and just try to make my environment as self-sufficient as possible because of the economic, future and everything else that's coming down the pike. Have you done something like that?
Sure. I've got solar